I don't know what's taking so long for this logo to roll around. It probably won't. Not logo, but I should say artifact. It's gonna say code word. It's not a logo. It's just, yeah, basic photo, right? And yet it's taking too long. Like, move up. In life, I'm saying. Up above my head. Let's be quicker with that. Like, subscribe, ID in the Discovery channel. Yes, ID in the Discovery channel. The links are provided below. Get that Discovery Go app as well as that ID Go app. You might want to get those two things and combine them, make them into one. Yeah. I have patience issues. I was in fact told that sort of thing yesterday. You lack patience. Why should? Because sometimes even life is moving too slow. But yeah, code words. That's what the photo is. It was just a little photo, like childlike photo. Wasn't there in fact games called Code Word? Or a puzzle called Code Word or something like that? I think it in fact was. I can't even remember. But even code words can help save young lives, such as children. And even grown folks in the bedroom. Sexual practices such as BDSM. So all type of individuals that go for all type of various things. And lewd conduct with that. Many in society fail to agree with that because they fail to know even what it is. Don't be so quick to judge without looking up a scientific print on even that. Well, what is BDSM? Doing this and this and that. You should in fact study stuff before you live judgmental is all I'm trying to say. But in relation to almost being kidnapped, I think individuals should in fact teach their young children code words. As in the usage, what it's used for, what's the proper definition of code word to begin with, and how you can even be found by police if you use it right. A code word. Assigning a word such as a code reminds you of computer language, computer programming or something like that, right? You never know that's where that sort of thing could have came from. And yet not. Because if you go back, let me not even go that far. I was going to say Morse code, that too, right? If I'm a child and my mother or my father assigns me a switch word or a keyword that say no other person outside of the family, and possibly even my brother and sister don't know, they assign each one of us code words and don't allow us to exchange what our code words is. I think that's how that should work. I in fact think that sort of thing should work like that. If you're gonna assign a child a code word, right, telling them the definition, I think you should give, if you got multiple children, give each child their own code word and don't allow them to exchange it. As in, it's only allowed to be assigned to that one child, and only that child, there it goes, only that one child or each child can share it between the parent and the child. Because see, you got corrupt adults out here that say the children, if you got 3 children and say each one of them know each other's code word, they get to standing and discussing, you know how kids do, in exchanging that information, not only between those 3, but also other grown people outside of the family. And that's too how children, it leads up to children being kidnapped. You got to have security measures with that, as in doing things right. Yeah. So, code words and safety. Let me not skip to ahead, because see, as I'm sitting up here and I'm reading my notes and all the rest, I'm also processing other information outside of this that has nothing to do with discovery, as well as my thoughts are moving forward, as in I can hear my thoughts being broadcasted loud, yet you the viewer can't, right? And so I'm skipping everywhere. My apologies with that. So Pinal County, Arizona, a Madison Rains, a 10-year-old, was walking near a park with a friend of hers during the week of November 5th, 2018. Somehow a stranger approached her. Approached her in the SUV and told her that her parents had sent them to pick her up. Why would you want to? What loser has too much time on their hands for that sort of thing? This loser, whoever they were, yes, was on the way to trying to kidnap her. The loser lied and told this young little girl, 10 years old, in front of her friend that her brother had been in a serious accident. Told her that, lied to her face and told her that her parents sent him to pick her up. Losers of all kind. If only I could see the face of that loser as it's happening. Because I say, well, you're gonna try to kidnap a young child? It's to say what, nobody wanted you or something? That don't make sense. More so while you're in a SUV as it's parked. And that's a serious matter, lying and saying that to the fact that the brother had been, that just don't, people is like so dumb. So Raines didn't get into the car. Young Madison Raines, the young 10-year-old I'm speaking on, she didn't get into the car with the kidnapper. She instead used a code word on him, as in a jackknife approach, as in asked him blatantly. That's how you should teach it. See, some of these parents need to be more sophisticated in the mouth with their own children. In the realm of not just tattletale, as in doing the fuck off move with even a kidnapper and he don't know what's happening, such as what Madison did using him. That's a punchline with that sort of thing. So what's the code word, sir? I want you to tell me to my face before you kidnap me, because I can sense even that. Children sense stuff like that too. Tell me, dumb fuck loser. So what's the code word that me and my mother, my father share between us in identity? So I can know and come to learn and understand your identity. You false, fickle fuck. Yet you wouldn't want to teach your 10-year-old kid to do that, as in the wording I just said, saying that to a stranger. And yet some people in fact do, because they don't want their children kidnapped. We live in a real extreme world out here. People take advantage of even children. And people raise their children in a way to leave the door open, as in allowing the child to be fully naive. And them not knowing that a criminal is standing there, right? It helps to have awareness. So instead of her going with him, she in fact, yes, used the code word to prevent the kidnapper running off with her. She asked him, what is it? I need to know the code word. He didn't know the code word. How foolish that is, as in how it sounds, right? And yet it's in fact truth, as in a testimony. Madison's her own, right? Her own account, even to police. He didn't know it. So what it did was it froze him in motion. He didn't even know what to say to her. That grown man did that and didn't even know what to say. My thing is, he must not have been that experienced, because see, an experienced man would have just put her in the car anyway, as in yanked her up or something. That's why it almost sounds and it almost seems that that man or whoever could have been close to the family. See what I'm going with this? Because I know that a large percentage of kidnappings happen amongst family members. And even close nearby, could be neighbors and all the rest, right? But more so family members. It's to say, well, if Madison didn't know that man's face, could he have been a family friend or something? You want to pick that apart too in the resolution. The opportunist. Where even I'm able to see something about the situation is not right, as in it needs to be called out. Because, I wonder if police even could, because see, something about this, I be just knowing and guessing and believing I'm possibly right and could be so. Here on the heart of the matter, how does a random kidnapper at that, drive up to a 10-year-old child and tell her your brother has been in a serious accident? How does he even know that she has a brother? I'm guessing even her case has been solved. More likely, whoever did that was more likely close to the family. It just has to be said. Did you, the viewer, even consider that, what I just said? And yet I wrote this out before, right? And yet to have a secondhand thought while I'm sitting here is to even not pay attention on my own end, to ask, well, how did that stranger hop out of a SUV and just tell her that her brother, because see, that child could have been anybody. That Madison Raines at 10 years old could have in fact been anybody. And she might not have had a brother. So in order to know that that crook or whoever knew that she had a brother, knew that he knew her personally. Through the family, I'm saying, or through somebody on the outside of the family, yet real close to the family. Some people can't solve cases, and yet me sitting here is to even say. That's a petty excuse on the dumb fuck asshole that tried to commit even that 10-year-old child. Who does that sort of thing? That even leads me to even get frustrated. Because what if Madison didn't have a brother? Then that's to say that the criminal kidnapper would have been fat. Yeah, be full-fledged looking real foolish. With even her standing there looking at him in the face. She was bold enough to even look that man in his eyes and say, yeah, code word, please. And what she should have said, and yet more than likely wasn't. She more than likely wasn't thinking, because to not be able to see this far as I'm able to see this far, and possibly even you, the viewer watching me, possibly didn't even think that far. Because once again, I didn't think that far about the brother when I just said. What random kidnapper walks up on somebody not knowing what type of siblings they have, such as the sex? How did the stranger know that she had a brother? Her being that age, yeah, she wouldn't have considered that. She was too much focused on him. As in getting over on him to run away. But after the situation happened, she in fact ran to let her grandmother know what happened right after. And of course, police was called. Police was called, and they in fact honored her and praised her. Mark Lamb, a Pinal County sheriff. Yes, he in fact created a Facebook post with which in fact praised her for what she had done, because that saved her own life. She in fact was a rescuer or savior to her own life at that time. Because to be messing with kidnappers is to say lives can be lost in that, because many of these kidnappers have nothing more to do or to say but to take somebody else's child and kill them. So to make me question how much more further away or how close was that kidnapper to the family? Did he live somewhere in the street? Was he a neighbor? Was he somebody that lived up the block or around the corner that was known to bypass the house of a Madison Raines on a day-to-day basis and keep a look and an eye out on her while nobody else was around but her? And her parents not being there. Something about this man individual is telling me, as in the science up underneath it is telling me, that whoever that is and was watching her all this time from afar, just enough to know that she has a brother. I'm wondering, because it's more than likely she had never seen his face before. So I'm trying to perceive the location of where he could have had even. I'm trying to perceive the location of where even this grown man could have been sitting from afar, just enough to watch this young girl. Even watching her interact with her brother. To know that she had a brother. I done repeated that 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and I should. Because even that makes sense of what I'm going on. The information within my own head. The loose screws. With that. Something about this don't make sense. The story as a whole don't make sense of the individual that stands out the most. That man that tried to kidnap her and possibly could have killed her in the process. You just don't know. I said that already. These parents need to be more on the watch out and look out, even sometimes they own friends, because you don't know who these parents, when they have co-workers and all the rest. That's to not say live paranoid. And yeah, sometimes people bring other people around their kids, and yet it might not have been a kidnapper, it might have been a family friend, and yet the family friend might have been hanging out with that kidnapper guy. I don't know what that is, but something is telling me something is not right. You can look at something and see that's completely out of something. As in, they need to solve that sort of situation. And even police need to get it together where even their game ain't on tight. It ain't completely on swole. Where they will even bypass information what I just said. Well, how did he know that she had a brother? Get the game together. ID logo, in fact, sits on the far left corner top. We are on investigationdiscovery.com for you to come back to this and even check this out and preview with that, which is why I'm on here. Live now is in fact Deadly Women. Each one of these in fact hold a description. To add to later is to click the plus sign. Shouts out to Paula, as well as shouts out to Lieutenant Joe Kenda, my dude. Each one of these shows in fact have a preview. More so here. Audio visual preview stands right here. Unlocked episodes. To add to watch later is to in fact once again click the plus sign. But to click the play button is going to show you what all needs to be seen, as in what you want to go for. And knowing what is a part of discovery. Body cam. I just did a video about that, about the app. I try to take it real slow instead of speeding up because there's time in life. There in fact is, besides many of us being caught and trapped in the rat race of life itself. My thought process is speed up sometimes, and yet when I'm on these videos I try to go slow and maintain that, as in to not mess up. To not mess up even with my calendar going off what needs to be done. Because I don't really like to edit videos. That takes too much time. So to edit right here while I'm doing this is to do stuff in the right way, as in driving slow with that. On last night, sign in, click here, provide, subscribe, with that sort of thing. Your provider, right? That's how you're going to gain access to that, because that's in fact exclusive, which is why it's locked down. Code cases. Answers to solve these cases. Code Valley. There are so many code cases out here pertaining to missing children and even adults. People, in fact, fail to pay attention. I be trying not to bash when people say, why you say you shouldn't sit and watch celebrities all day? If you're not working in media, if you're not working for Discovery, or you're not working for something like that that builds you to do a greater gain to not only society, as in helping to show off celebrities, is to do something on your own end where it builds yourself as well. Don't just be sitting there showing off famous people, because remember, they got it already. And yet you don't. But to take it much more further is to show them off in a way that, say, not you just gaining, but you possibly promote them for not personal gain. No, you're promoting them to promote them, or endorsing them to endorse them. But at the same time, you're helping to level off your skills as well. You're building something within, having an internal drive with that sort of thing. What can I do to build myself and use this in a way to create some skills out myself? That's with anybody. That can be Janet Jackson. Who else? I was gonna say LaToya Jackson. Well, her too. LaToya Jackson, I got love for even her as well, because that's even family right there. But yeah, don't just sit on no social media platform and be posting on and on, going on in the mouth about other famous people, and yet you're not famous getting anything or doing anything. I'm saying, when I say getting anything, the value should be there, as in not wanting to take from them in money. No, it should be in the level of building your own skills, writing skills, because you have nothing else to go on while you're on social media but typing and texting stuff out. And to begin with, you should want to use that sort of thing, and more so use that celebrity's face to not only once again push them out forward in social media, because even that's media, it's more low scale media, but improving your writing. That's a waste of way to life. And not only, see, there's a lot of failures in this life, and I'm not saying anybody watching this video, no, because I scream even online about that going on and on for days. You don't do that sort of thing, because see, social media is there, and it's been created to use people, human beings such as you and I. That's why it's there, and yet there's IQ testing that. IQ, your own IQ, as in, is it going to be up later in life or is it going to be down? Because to sit just watching people and watching people, I'm saying, and you're not learning anything while you're, because there's celebrities that don't teach you anything. So there's nothing to be gathered and learned. You should want to watch people that can teach you something. And I said that even in creative expression. Watch people you can learn something from, right? But if you're sitting there watching people, say on Instagram, and it's just pictures and you're not gathering no information from them that you can use in your life, as to say later on in life, you're going to be a failure. You're going to take the dummy route, as in your IQ is going to drop lower and lower as you're going, and you're not going to even know that it's happening. You should want to challenge your brain every day, and yet social media doesn't do that. And yet they give you the option and the choice to do that while you're sitting there, and yet not everybody uses it. Not everybody uses it. Celebrity, Oprah Winfrey, Janet Jackson or whatnot, if I'm on social media, those two individuals are my complete whole coverage with that. Janet Jackson and Oprah Winfrey. There's really no going all outside of that, even with Discovery, because see, those two people can teach you a lot of things in life. And with me, it just has to be there, as in me carrying on all day and all night, even showing and promoting those two individuals off. Because that represents me in the area of writing. And that represents them in the area of fame. Being creative. See, my words when I'm right here on Discovery, this right here, that have the logos and all that, as I say, Discovery platform, as well as the wristband, right, and t-shirt. So I have to keep some dryness with this, because that represents investigation, discovery, the branding process, and not getting carried away with too many jokes and laughing, knowing you're speaking on real authentic life things, such as killings and drive-by shootings and police officers doing you wrong, right? And yet when I'm on social media, I can crack jokes all day. You're gonna maintain some composure on a laughing nature, as in to not overdo it, as in knowing the right time and moment to spit out a joke on cue with that. But when it comes to social media, I can be laughing and playing and snickering on all the rest, because it's freedom to do that. And it should, because anytime somebody's watching me on anything, social media, is to say they're gonna want to watch me for entertainment purposes, despite me not being an entertainer. That just makes better, greater sense, right? And so to even have them do a buyout on me is to do something playfully with that sort of thing, and use Oprah and Janet as I'm doing it, because that I can't be no failure. That's a no-go. This is a lesson to you, the viewer. Never aim to be a failure in life. Always aim to go up, move up in life. Target practice with that. Sorry, this is a lecture. I am. My greatest apologies. The ID logo, once again, rewinding back. ID logo sits in the far left corner. Live now is Infect Deadly Women. ID Go original series. Shouts out once again to Paula, as well as Lieutenant Joe Kenda. My two favorites. That's not to play favoritism with that sort of thing. You can see Lieutenant Joe Kenda right here slightly. I'm sitting on him. Not in that way. Somebody might in fact take that sexually, and yet that wasn't the intention, right? Crime Feed news. To gain access to the crime feed, crimefeed.com, is to in fact click right within here. You're going to be, yes, pushed out to the outside, as in forward to crimefeed.com for that. The latest and greatest in killings and tragedies with that. People love that sort of thing. You got people that in fact get off on killing people or watching it being seen brutally, and even women. The target audience, when it's, majority of women that watch ID, it's to say you never know what even they're thinking and processing. Many of you out there, They, you, all the same. To receive a newsletter is in fact type your email address in and click next. I'm in fact sitting on that to the next button. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Express what you feel on that. Just don't cuss me out, because I don't do too well with that. As in, I regulate haters. I do. It helps to be rude in the mouth with that. When I said because I'm so tomboyish, when I said, well, in my past life, my nickname was more than likely Rude Boy. Because I'm known to cuss people out, and I should be. This ain't the playoffs with that, and yet it could be. Over the ass and possibly in the face of people coming to cuss me out on my stuff. Trust and believe it's all type of YouTubers on YouTube accounts, that content creators that get cussed out for no reason by losers out here. That sort of thing you don't want to pull on me. That ain't gonna